All right, good evening, everyone. It's 5:30, Monday, September 25th, 2017, and I'm going to call to order the meeting of the City Council of Paris. The invocation is going to be given by Pastor Bob Bush and the Pledge of Allegiance by the Mayor Pro Tem, Ms. Drake.
Let us pray. Lord, we thank you for those who are willing to serve us in the constabulary and firefighters, first responders, all the offices of our great city. Thank you for the council members who are willing to serve us. We know you'll provide them leadership. We pray that they will strive to please all the people as often as they can, as honestly as they can, and when they can't, give them the courage of their convictions to be gracious when they're up and when they're down, knowing that all government is local, and by doing a good job here, we're doing our best for our country, which we dearly love, as we love the city of Paris and its leaders. Thank you, Lord, for those who serve and for the guidance you give us all to do the right as we understand it. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 4 is a citizens forum. Persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to no more than 2 minutes. Unless an item is posted on the agenda, the Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city, council members, or employees, as well as individual personnel appeals, are not appropriate for citizens forum. The citizens forum is now open. State your name and address.
Janine Lauren, 1760 Northeast 34th Street, Paris, Texas. It appears that on September 5th, 2017, according to the Paris News lead, no one spoke, and this is a big deal. I had not caught my breath, so the meeting started at 5:30 and adjourned to an executive session at 5:33 p.m. While I did not speak, I clearly did express my concerns in writing. What I am doing as a concerned citizen and what you are doing as a governing body is a process. If I am wrong about what I have found, I expect to be contacted, corrected, or showed how to become better informed. You seem to feel that since by procedure you say nothing in a council meeting, you have no further obligation. I think that this is wrong. I want to know if we did give a $2.3 million merit raises and how this is possible without anyone knowing, including the mayor of the time, Dr. Hashby. Further, if this did not happen, how did it appear the way it did in the current budget? I want to know why the anonymous letter written on the Suddenlink site appears to be internal to the Chamber of Commerce has never been addressed. It indicates a lot of problems with double dipping and a lack of accountability regarding the Love Civic Center. Apparently, many people are aware of this letter, but since it's not read into the record, it is assumed not to exist. I have placed that letter in one of my packets. This is my formal request to address this body about the legal and ethical concerns I have with this governing body. I am told that a council member has to put this on the agenda. Thus, I request all of you to grant me this request. If I am refused, I want a written statement from one of you as to the facts and reasons you will not grant me this request.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to address the council? Step forward, please. No one else wishes to. The citizens forum is now closed. Brings us to the consent agenda. Anyone have anything on the consent agenda that they wish to remove for additional discussion? Then I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion
I'll
to
second
approve
it.
the consent agenda.
Accept. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Goes to regular agenda, item number 11. Discuss and act on a resolution approving a tax abatement agreement with Kimberly-Clark Corporation. And
Oh, there he is.
Kimberly-Clark is here. Mr. James Allspaw, the plant manager, is here to give a presentation If you'll recall, you asked me to proceed with doing a tax abatement agreement a couple of weeks ago, and I've done that, and I guess you're up.
All right. John, can you call up the presentation?
This one?
Yes. All right. Mayor, council members, and city team, good evening. My name is James Allspaw, and I'm the plant manager of the Kimberly-Clark Paris plant. I am pleased to be here tonight to share with you potential investments that I think would be mutually beneficial to the community and to Kimberly-Clark. In addition to myself tonight, we have Ben Phillips here, our finance and logistics manager, to help out with the with questions if there are any. Okay, Kimberly-Clark is a, next slide, okay. Kimberly-Clark is a $18 billion company. We have 42,000 employees worldwide, and we are headquartered in Irving, Texas. And so it's very, very close to headquarters here for our plant. And if you look at the company, it's divided up into really three parts. It has consumer tissue, KC Professional, and personal care. The diaper part, or the diaper plant, is part of the personal care section of Kimberly-Clark. 3 decades ago, Kimberly-Clark pledged to the Paris-Lamar County that we would invest and grow the Paris plant. 34 years later, you can see that we've been making good on this promise. And if you look at the period of time between 1989 and 1997, Kimberly-Clark invented 3 global brands. And the manufacturing for those brands started right here in the Paris, Texas, Kimberly-Clark plant. From 2015 to 2017, we have started to retool or replace our original diaper assets, okay? Some of the council members were able to tour that and see those new assets. 3 of those assets are installed and running, and we're currently installing the 4th asset as we speak. The 4th asset will be Kimberly-Clark's fastest diaper machine in the world. It will be making in excess of 1,000 diapers per minute. From a community impact, let me get to that slide. How do we impact our community? The Paris plant has a $45 million plus payroll. In 2016, we paid $3.5 million in property taxes. We paid $1.6 million in sales taxes, and we had almost $33 million spent with Texas businesses. From a plant stewardship standpoint, we are very proud of our safety culture transformation at the plant. We're not finished, but we're very proud for how far we've come. We have been awarded 7 Kimberly-Clark Crystal Globe Awards. Each of those awards represents 1 million consecutive safe hours. Starting in 2019, we'll be proud to say that 30% of our power will be coming from a Texas wind farm. And this is all just brand new information here in 2017. Also, an interesting fact about the plant is every year we have an outside firm come in and inspect our quality management system. And this year they came in, did the inspection. We scored a 99% on that audit. That's number 1 out of almost 6,000 manufacturing facilities that this company has audited globally.
Wow.
All right, so it's a real testimony to our employees and our systems in which we manufacture. Over the past 2 years, really the past 18 months, we have hired over 100 employees at Kimberly-Clark in Paris. And we're hiring, we have a ton of retirement. Given the age of the facility right now, we have a lot of attrition going on with retirement. And so we're backfilling that as well as slight growth. And it's added up to over 100 people hired in the past 18 months. From a community or charitable impact, you can see here we donated $80,000 to United Way this year. Community partners of $25,000. Essentially what that is we've had 50 people in the Paris plant contribute over 30 hours of their time to a local charity, in which Kimberly-Clark will reward financial funds for that charity. That adds up to $25,000. And then also this year we had one $20,000 scholarship winner at Prairieland High School. So that's the impact on our community. Now the next slide. So this is the second phase of a two-phase request for the City Council. If y'all recall, or many of you may recall, last November we came before the council and the council approved an ordinance that allowed us to pursue sales tax incentives with the state. Okay, so the ordinance gave us the opportunity now to go and apply for sales tax rebates as part of the Enterprise Zone program in Austin. So we are grateful for that endorsement and that ordinance last year. Tonight, we are here to request a new tax abatement starting in 2018 through 2022 with the sole purpose of helping us win investments versus our competition in South Carolina and our competition in Utah, the two other Kimberly-Clark diaper and training pant plants. So specifically tonight, we're asking the council to partner with the Kimberly-Clark Paris employees to attract a proposed $121 million of investments over the next 5 years, okay? And these investments will ensure that we retain at least 500 high-skilled Kimberly-Clark jobs, as well as continue the high-tech training to keep our employees competitive from a technical standpoint. Also, adding these investments will help us improve productivity, innovation, and efficiency. So that is our request of the council tonight. I would like to open up for questions to the council members.
Thank you, Mr. Oswald. Anyone have any questions?
Especially appreciative of what you give back to the community. Are any of your vendors that you use also local in Lamar County?
Absolutely. So it depends on what service that we're using, but we definitely try to leverage the best cost, and many times that's going to be local, and many times that's the best service. So yes.
Thank you.
I have a question. If we approve this abatement, is this investment in fact going to come here, or is there still another decision to make?
Oh, there's many more decisions to be made. So that's every year there's a process, an analysis that goes on where we look at long-term capital. And this type of a partnership really helps us win those decisions. Mm-hmm. But yes, there's many decisions that have to be made.
Awesome. Anyone else have any questions? I'd like to say from the mayor and from the city council how appreciative we are of Kimberly-Clark and everything they contribute to this community, and we're very pleased, or certainly I'm personally very pleased, I think I speak for the rest of the council, that y'all are seriously considering this type of investment in the Paris area, showing your commitment to us as well. So I'm certainly in favor of this. So
make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve. I'll second that. Any discussion regarding that before we vote? All in favor, raise your hand. It looks unanimous to me, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Oswald.
Thank you.
All right. Item number 12, discuss and act on an ordinance amending the traffic control map in section 31-65B of the Code of Ordinances, establishing stop signs, stopping east and westbound traffic at the intersection of 7th Street Northeast and East Williams Street.
Definitely, Mayor, members of the council. This item came before the Traffic Commission at our September meeting. After school started this year at the Head Start School, they had a change in their traffic plan. And in doing so, it increased the traffic on the east side of their building where this intersection is located. This intersection did not have any traffic control device whatsoever. And due to the increased traffic during drop-off and pickup times, the school noticed the need for this for these stop signs to be placed, and they made the request. And this was approved by the Traffic Commission at the meeting.
All right. Thank you. Any discussion on this?
We got to keep those babies safe.
I'll make a motion that we approve the change of the traffic control map to install the stop signs. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 13, discuss and act on budget amendments to Paris Economic Development Budget fiscal year 2016-2017.
I'll jump in. If you have any questions, Michael's here, but these are, just like we did last week with ours, just the annual, balance it out, no revenue, net revenues and net expenditures stay the same, just moving some money around. In fact, these are really small numbers too, so.
We have any discussion on this or any questions for Mr. Paris? Make a motion that we approve this budget amendment.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes. Next, item number 14, discuss and adopt an economic development program to ensure predictability and continuity of economic development efforts regardless of the November election outcome. Mr. Godwin, were you going to present this?
Yes, sir. Pretty quickly, this was on the agenda 2 meetings ago, 4 weeks ago, I guess. And the only thing, and we had gotten a little bit of feedback that night, and I've gotten a little bit of feedback since then. But this is the same information that you got 4 weeks ago. And I'm bringing it back to you for 2 reasons. I think that, again, whichever side of the election results you fall on, there's going to be an election in November. And none of us know which way it's going to go. If it goes in the way of eliminating at some point in the future the PEDC and changing that tax to a road maintenance tax, then I think we need to have a plan in place for that eventuality. And so I'm asking that either tonight or at some point in the near future that the council approve such a plan. And certainly if you have any changes or if you want to, I've got kind of some bullet points there. We can talk about those each one at a time, or if you're fine with it the way it is, that's quicker. The one thing that I did change is just about maybe 2 sentences. I added some stuff in there about conflict of interest that was not in there in the original. I think everything else is still the same as it was before. And so anyway, just whatever changes or approval that you have for me, we'll do.
Okay. I did quite a bit of looking at this over the last few days and have quite a few suggestions to make to this. And I'll just pass out my suggestions because I'd like to discuss them. The reason I'm doing this is we really get one chance to get this right, and I agree with almost everything John had in here, but I would like to suggest some fine-tuning to this and discuss these things. Most notably, I would like to, item number 2, which I have on here, John's plan has members must be qualified voters of the city, reside within the city, and have no delinquent indebtedness to the city. Actually, before I discuss that one, let me just start off at the first one. The current suggestion is the advisory board shall consist of 7 regular active members. I would like to suggest that perhaps we say the advisory board shall consist of up to 7 members. And then if we don't have 7 qualified people, and I think that the City Council of Paris shall appoint only those individuals it deems qualified to serve on the board. So if we don't have 7 people that we think are the type people we want, no offense to anybody that applies, but I would think that this is an advisory board only, and it doesn't really have that much power other than to advise. And so I would like, even if we had 3 great people, I'd rather have that than 3 great people and a few people filling seats. So my first suggestion is to suggest that we shall consist of up to 7 without a mandatory requirement for 7. My second suggestion is to insert an item number 2. This was very important to me. I want to do something that perhaps is different from what we're doing now. And I'd like to cite that the members of the board, in my opinion, and what I'd like to propose shall be selected because of experience in general business and marketing especially, experience in manufacturing, and those who might have significant political connections in Austin. All of these things have a bearing on economic development. And if we could get a board that had this type of experience, we might have more success at economic development. It's not that we would exclude other people necessarily, but I think these are the types of people we should look for, retired plant managers, maybe perhaps even a retired or an ex-state representative who might still have some ties and some contacts in Austin. There's things that go on at Austin relating to economic development which we don't typically partake in. So I would that's another thing I wanted to suggest as a possibility. Item number 2, we said members must be qualified voters of the city, reside within the city, and have no delinquent indebtedness to the city. I think for an advisory board like this, having a requirement that they be in the city, if we're going to exclude someone who seems very, very competent and very interested simply because they live outside the loop, it seems to me we could lose some talent that way. Certainly, anyone who had an obvious conflict of interest with another community, we shouldn't keep those people in here. But that would be the decision of the council to judge and to in its judgment to place these people on this board. The other things I was suggesting, there was a term limit that John had put in here on number 6. I think if we get somebody who's fantastic on the board and everybody loves him and he's doing a great job, gosh, I'd hate to kick him off the board just because he term limited out. So the council has the prerogative to take someone off after 3 terms if they deem it appropriate, but to have it codified that we must, I'm not sure that's the greatest idea. So my suggestion was to allow them to serve 2-year terms. And again, a vacancy, instead of shall be filled by the council, may be filled. Again, that's saying to do with we can have 7 if we want to have 7, or we can have less than that. Another suggestion I made was number 10, attendance to board meetings. It's just possible we could get someone with political ties. Let's say, I mean, I don't know that our state rep would have any interest, but let's just say we could get someone that didn't live here who had strong political ties to be a member of our board and perhaps come maybe 2 or 3 times a year. I'd hate to automatically kick them off the board if they didn't maintain attendance. I'd like to say attendance to board meeting is encouraged, and the council, if we deem that someone that really ought to be coming isn't coming and hasn't been there for, has missed 25% or more of the meetings, then we have certainly the option of removing them on that basis. And one other thing I was going to suggest is, as the board is purely advisory in function, I'd like to, a quorum really isn't that important. They're not spending money, they're advising. And I'd hate, again, to have 5 members on the board and only 3 show up or 2 show up or something, and they can't even advise. So my suggestion was to state that a quorum will be defined as consisting of those board members who attend any regularly scheduled meeting. Those are my suggestions on the first part. I've got something else on the conflicts of interest, but I don't know if there was any, before I move on, it's a lot to throw at you. Does anyone have any agreement or discussion or disagreement with that? Would like to talk about it? Yes, ma'am.
Well, for one thing, you said we don't have any ties to Austin. We currently are members of Team Texas, which is a very good networking system.
And that's very good. And I'm just saying, I'd like to encourage that. I'd like to encourage political connections with Austin, and that would be something we would be looking for in a potential board member. Anyone else have any suggestions or ideas about this? I'll move. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll move on to the other thing. On the conflicts of interest, John put that in there, and I think we need to stiffen that up just a little bit. The way it exists right now, like if I'm on the council, or John, the city manager, or any of the council members, we are deemed by city charter to have a substantial conflict of interest to have any of our family members on committees. And so much so that the city charter states that no family relationship within the second degree by affinity, that's marriage, or within the third degree by consanguinity, blood, to any member of the city council or the city manager. So, you know, our relatives cannot serve on this either by marriage or by blood. I don't see why we don't apply the similar qualifications to this board. My suggestion for that is to state that no person may serve on the board who in the last 5 years has had significant ownership in an entity that in the last 5 years has requested or received abatements, grants, or other financial considerations from the PEDC, any other economic development structure in Lamar County, the city of Paris, or their precedents. Further, no person may serve on the board who in the last 5 years has had significant ownership in an entity that in the last 5 years has had significant financial dealings with any of the foregoing, which I'm defining as $100,000 or more in a single year. And further, relatives within the second degree by affinity marriage or within the third degree by consanguinity of blood of such person also may not serve on the board. And that was my suggestion to kind of update the conflict of interest. We don't want people that can potentially obtain benefits from this, either directly or indirectly, to be advising our director, and that was my suggestion on that as well. Want to have any discussion regarding these things or any ideas?
I have one question, and I might be reading this wrong since the first time I've seen this. Under the conflict of interest, has requested or received abatements, grants, or other financial consideration. Are you talking about even if they have applied and maybe didn't get it, or are you talking about if they received?
And that was, I took that out of John's wording, to requested or received.
Okay.
That would, because if there's ongoing
I
negotiations
just wanted to
regarding
make sure
that.
that I
Yeah.
was clear on that.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that I did like that I had thought about is I don't like having to limit it to citizens of Paris because we have a lot of good and knowledgeable people that live in other areas besides just the city of Paris. And I would like to be able to, you know, if somebody lives out of, I don't know, Blossom or something, and they are, you know, they're a retired, possibly plant manager or somebody like that, just because they don't live in the city limits of Paris per se, that we might not be able to get some very intelligent information. So that part I had written down on my paper that I wanted to talk about. I'm going to pass right now while I finish looking.
One other thing I didn't mention, item number 8, a chairperson shall be appointed by the city council, and the word shall in the Economic Development Board shall annually elect a vice chairman. I mean, I could conceive of a time when there might be 1 or 2 members, or there might not be someone willing to serve, so I was going to change that to may annually elect a vice chairman. They can if they choose to.
Would these terms be staggered, I guess, so that we always have
Yeah.
people? Okay.
Yeah, and that was in his,
Yeah, I
Mr.
thought I
Godwin.
saw that. I looked in there and looked
Yeah.
in here.
Anybody have any other comments or
Down
discussion?
here under conflict of interest, it says about no person may serve who's received tax abatements or anything like that. Would that negate a plant manager perhaps that retired
It
from
wouldn't if
serving?
he's not if he if he doesn't own the
Okay.
company.
All right.
Or have, there's a legal definition of significant interest, right?
Okay.
And we could apply that. So certainly, I mean, an ideal person would be a retired plant manager. We
Correct.
certainly wouldn't want to exclude
All
them.
right, and this would not exclude them from
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I wouldn't
Okay.
think so.
I think
Well-
you've certainly put a lot of thought into
Well,
it. Thank you, Mr.
again,
Godwin.
it's-
Thank you,
Yeah.
Mayor Clifford.
My feeling on this, I'm going to make a motion that we adopt this economic development plan with the changes that I've placed here. Now, if someone comes up at a future meeting and says, hey, I don't think this is the greatest idea, we can amend this, but I think this is a real good starting point.
That was
And-
my question.
Yeah.
After we
know
look
that
at, have a chance to
I'm
look
throwing
at
a lot of this
yours
at you, but-
and really digest it. If we had some tweaking, we can come back
Sure,
and
sure.
do that at.
Yeah. But I think we do need,
Nothing's in stone anyway until the election goes one way or the other.
and I think it is, as John mentioned, it's important that we show the community that we have a plan. And it may even be a better plan. And that we want economic development. We want to show our support for economic development. And there's a lot of misinformation out there, and I want to clarify that we absolutely are behind economic development, and we would like perhaps to try a slightly different method and framework, and with the possibility of having better success in the future. So I'll make the motion that we accept it with these changes.
I'll second.
Got a second? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. All right. Next item is item number 15, discuss and act on an ordinance amending Chapter 16, Garbage and Waste Materials, Article 2, Regulation of the Collection of Solid Waste of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Paris, Texas, providing for mandatory residential and commercial solid waste collection, making other findings and provisions related to the subject, providing a repeater clause, a severability clause, a savings clause, a penalty clause, and providing an effective date.
This is essentially just a cleanup ordinance. There was some language in the old ordinance that was, I guess, arguable. It was clear to me, but not clear to some folks. But the bottom line is that we have a franchise monopoly, that we have all residential collection done by the city. There were some folks that were trying to say that the ordinance didn't really mandate that. Well, it does now once you approve this. So it's just, again, cleanup language for what was really kind of a minor problem, but just we want to make sure we're clear on our authority.
Any discussion on this? I'll make a motion that we approve this revised solid waste collection ordinance.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No one? Okay. Item number 16, discuss a possible city council goal-setting work session and provide direction to staff.
And this, I don't have any guidance for you at all, but I'm looking for guidance from you. We do have a work session coming up on the October the something, 16th.
16.
To talk about code enforcement. But this was more of, a couple of you talked about kind of a goal-setting, team-building, retreat, work session, whatever. And lots of cities do this. It's not unusual at all. And it can be done on an evening. Some people do it on a Saturday. It can be done with a facilitator. It can be done with staff facilitator. It can be done just with the council sitting around the table talking. The main thing is you want to have a purpose other than just to get together and talk, because then you'll go home and go, gee, I've spent all that time and we didn't actually do anything. And you need an agenda. You need to have some specific things that you want to talk about and that you want to address. It's sometimes while you're having a meeting like that, it's good to just talk about a lot of different things. But if you will later be disappointed that you spent the time and got nothing done. Anyway, that's all I've got to say. Just, I'm looking for what kind of a meeting do you have in mind, and how long do you think you want to spend on it, and do you want to bring in an outside person to kind of run that meeting? And then from there, possible dates.
Well, I'm going to jump right in. I think we've got enough educated, smart people on staff that we don't need to bring anybody in from outside. My one thing that I would like for us to look at is a strategic plan. We have talked about that when I was on council before, and how far that's gotten. Probably need to look at it again, just to make sure that it is where we want it to be. So that's one thing that I would like to see on the agenda. And then I'll go from there and just let somebody else talk, and then I have a couple other things if they don't jump on it.
I'd also like to echo that thought about the plans, looking at the plans that we've got, because I noticed on the city manager's powers and duties of the Economic Development Corporation that you proposed, or the advisory board that you proposed, that members of the board shall study and review the city's development plans, programs, including the city's comprehensive plan, you know, all that kind of stuff that I haven't seen myself. So I would like to see that. And I believe I even asked about that when we had our little mini orientation at the very beginning. And we really didn't have a comprehensive plan. So if we've got one, I'd like to see it. If not, I'd like to be a part of developing something for us to have. And my particular area of interest would be neighborhood revitalization, and maybe thinking about maybe getting these houses before they're torn down, getting something done to them before they're torn down. And I think it's very timely, Mr. Godwin, that you've got this code enforcement meeting set for us on the 16th. Thank you very much for that.
Anyone else have any suggestions or, Mr.
do.
Donato?
Someone brought this up today to me. All these vacant and overgrown lots, you know, how bad they look. And this man, he gave me about 3 or 4 points that maybe we could work with someone, a builder or somebody, to come in. We can work with them and they can get credit or whatever. And when they fix them up and build a house for that neighborhood and keep them clean and, you know, get them back on the tax rolls.
Is that something you want on the work session, or you're wanting that just a future agenda item to discuss?
Yeah, future agenda, please.
Okay.
And I think it'd be something good we could put on the agenda for
The
a
work session, yeah, okay.
Kind of goes with revitalizing.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
sure
it
does.
does. It sort
Sure
of all
does.
goes together.
Revitalizing neighborhoods. Yeah.
Ms. Portugal, yes, ma'am.
Well, I think the idea of the workshop is great. I think we need goal setting. Many of us didn't really know one another until we were put together on this council. I think what I've seen through school districts, a facilitator can come in as a third party, not involved with, you know, like John, if he's the facilitator and we're doing his evaluation, if you don't like what he says in that, it might put him in an uncomfortable position. But I think goal setting for sure, and some team building.
Okay, well, is it the consensus of the council to go ahead and schedule this? And,
I don't know if we can do it on an evening. I mean, I don't like to give my weekends up any more than anyone else does, but if we do, I think it'd take more than one evening if we really truly get down and do what we're saying we want to do. That's just my personal opinion.
I would agree with that.
But at the same time, I think we need to do what's best for the city and our constituents.
I will donate the last Saturday in October.
so that's the date you want?
Yes.
Do we have,
If I were going to pick a Saturday,
Do
I'd
we
pick the
have
last Saturday in
something?
October.
It's the festival of pumpkins.
Pumpkin
the last
Festival?
Saturday.
Oh, was that Pumpkin
I think
Festival?
it is,
So
that's
it's
why
at
I
the
was
28th.
asking.
I knew that the first Saturday in November was real busy also.
Well, do we want to, so is there a date that works for everybody, or we don't really have a good feel right now?
I would want to conflict
being
with Pumpkin
Saturday.
Festival. No,
I'd hate
not
to
at
conflict
all.
with the Pumpkin Festival, but,
Yeah.
Because I have to work it.
Don't know what's
you
that.
gotta, okay.
Yeah.
I don't have anything on either of those weekends, but something in my head told me the first Saturday in November is usually pretty busy.
Hey,
Guess I was wrong.
Well, we had the Mannequin Night on the 21st, and we had the Pumpkin Festival on the 28th. Other than that, those are the only 2 Saturdays in October.
What about November, the first Saturday in November?
I can't be there,
Okay,
if that matters.
well, we need you.
Taylor?
And I don't know if we could get anything. Let's see, what's the second?
And the November the 11th, there's the Christmas tree lighting, that's not till the evening. I don't know what else is going on in town, that it matters.
Could we do the 11th in of November?
And I may have to check TCU football games. I got to check.
Also, we'll have a TV somewhere over in the corner for you.
Well, I don't know how to proceed with this.
Yeah,
Should,
well, probably the thing to do is we'll kind of look at the calendar in general and send you 3 dates.
yeah, that's probably good. And then,
and we'll
okay,
just-
then we can all check our calendars
Because
at
you
our
wanted it
leisure.
where all 7 of you are here.
Right.
You don't want to do it with 5 or 6, not a meeting like that. So Janice and I will work with you guys, and we'll talk with you over the next week or so, and we'll set a date that everybody can be there.
Sounds
Looks
great.
like Saturday it would be then, a Saturday?
I think so.
Is that right? A Saturday?
Maybe 9 to 9:30, something like that.
9:30.
Okay, item number 16, discuss possible item number 17, consider and approve future events for city council and/or city staff pursuant to resolution number 2004-081. I've got one thing to suggest. This is a big ballot initiative coming up, and it is confusing. The city typically sends out a mailer without taking sides, but explaining what this is to the voters, and I definitely would like to do that and be in a position to approve that at the next meeting. So if you could get that drawn up for us.
Do it.
That's my feeling at least. But anyone else have a future events? I will entertain.
We have all the activities taking place at the fairgrounds this weekend. There may be more than 3 of us out there at a time, so I
Just don't talk about city business.
Yeah.
You'll be
Right.
fine.
Cannot,
That's what I'm just saying. I don't
Here,
want
there's
this
bed races on Saturday.
bed races. Come watch me.
Saturday bed races.
And a motion, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.